I feel like a kid who's about to do show and tell, and I have very, very exciting things to show and tell you. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you can see something beside me, okay? It is so exciting. It is our brand new feature, completely free to use on the Cruise Globe. Amazing. Hello to everyone who is in here. So nice to see you. If you have a question, and you can start it with question in capital letters, that will help me to pick out what is a question and what is just general chit chat. I will do my best to answer as many as I can. So what you should be seeing, hopefully you can see it next to me, is a cruise that I took on board Norwegian Encore. Let me know if you can see that. This is the real route that the cruise ship took. This is the trail that it left behind, and we are re-watching it now. So this is called Cruise Replay, and this is a new feature that we have inside the Cruise Globe. Let me know if you can see that. Hello to Lou, who's in here. Hello to Jamie, who's in here. Jackie is in here. So nice to see you all. We have people watching from Colorado, amazing. Iowa, awesome to see you. And we get a really good mix of time zones in here, which is super cool. But yes, look at this route. I thought we would start with Alaska because the Alaska ones are really, really interesting. But you can see just how wiggly the ship gets in there. And I love this stuff. I think it is so, so cool. I have screen recorded some of my cruises, some of my favorite ones. So I have examples of, my Caribbean cruises, Mediterranean cruises, some of the ones that are just a bit weird, like when we did cruises after the pandemic and we went round and round in circles, but I'll be showing you some of them on this live stream. Thank you for all the lovely comments saying it is cool. It is so cool. If this is my legacy within the cruise industry, I'm happy. I've done what I wanted to do. It is so cool. So you can get these for any of your cruises completely for free. Paul says, what are your thoughts on a mystery cruise? So I've never taken a mystery cruise myself. I think it seems like good fun. It's not always so much of a mystery because you can normally find out if you want to where the ship's going to go. So I'm not too sure, but I would like to do it for sure. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, next to me, that's where we had to stop in Victoria. But look at how it doesn't go the direct route, does it? It always sort of twirls around, which is kind of cool. Yes. Did your mum and dad fancy a laugh with their reverse roles of seasickness in the first Captain Hudson book? Yeah, that was not particularly intentional. There's also other things in there that are very not like my mum and dad, kind of on purpose, I guess. But yeah, they're made up characters, definitely. Postcard and a pint. Nice to see you in here. Hello, Emily. Hello, Karen. Nice to see you all. Yes, if you can start the question with question, just like this is the best example of it. It just increases the chance that I'll be able to see it, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. So it can be cruise related, itinerary related, any kind of itinerary that I show you. If you want to talk about that, we can do that. Thoughts about cruising on a tall ship? Sounds good. It's not ever been a cruise that has been where I am at that time. It's one you have to consciously want to do, I think. So it sounds good. Have I ever done a Red Sea or Egypt cruise? Nope. Morella used to do them many moons ago. I have been doing some research because Morella, the Tui, the riverside, they do Tui river cruises on the Nile now. So that's exciting. James says, statement, Pepsi should send you a year's supply of Pepsi Max as you are their main ambassador on YouTube. That would be lovely. I don't know that Pepsi needs me, as sad as that is. But I do have a new Pepsi here. I've never tried this. So I thought I'd try it on the live stream. Don't know if you can see, but it is, come on then, focus on there. Strawberries and cream, Pepsi. Who knew? What travel agent would you recommend, says Josh? So I have travel agents that I recommend on my website. If you go on there and just click on, are you from the US? Are you from the UK? Then you'll get directed to the ones that I recommend. Caroline says, I put my Morella cruise in Cruise Globe, but it said there was a problem and I would get an email. Not heard. Cruise was mid-March. Definitely send us an email. Just send it to hello@thecruisemaps.com and we can take a look. Probably the dates are not quite right, the ports are not quite right, something like that. I have all of my Morella cruises in there. All the ships are definitely logged. So yeah, please send us an email. A question, what is a good cruise you recommend in Asia? So I have cruised in Asia 3 times. once with Princess, once with Royal Caribbean, and once with Norwegian. I have my Norwegian one here that you can see, and this is probably my favorite cruise of all time. So we started in Tokyo, and you can see just how many ports we did. This was a longer cruise than I normally do, but Japan is my favorite place to travel to in the entire world. If you can also stop off, in Hong Kong, very nice. And we went to Vietnam. This one ended in South Korea. So that was really, really cool. Really cool. You can see here, it's quite interesting because a lot of these ports aren't actually that far apart. But we had a couple of sea days, but most days it was pretty port intensive. Just look at us wiggling in there. I think that is so cool. So cool. Have you noticed the new Pepsis are zero sugar, but not Pepsi Max? Wonder why. Yeah, this is it. This is a zero sugar one, but it's not called Pepsi Max. Pepsi Zero is not the same as Pepsi Max, by the way. I know in some countries you only have Pepsi Zero, but it's not the same. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try. James says, please hit the like button. Yes, if you can, that would be absolutely amazing. It's just a good sign for YouTube. It smells like sweets. It smells actually really good. It smells like pick mix sweets. Oh, I don't. It tastes like if you put strawberry laces in Pepsi. I like those things. But yeah, look at this part. You can see just how sort of some places are so rural and some are right in the middle of cities. This is a live taste testing on YouTube. Yeah, it tastes like if you put strawberry laces inside a Pepsi. Matt says, will the cruise globe go back to 2013? That is a great question. So this data, is it that way or that way? For me, it's that way. For you, I think it's that way. This data, the cruise ship started dropping that off in 2015. So that's when it becomes absolutely true. This is what the ship did. This is the route that my ship actually took. When we do little circles and little quirks like there, we really did do that. We did that wiggle just to sort of kill time, and we followed the wiggle back, which I think is cool. So from 2015 onwards, that data is completely real. We are working on something because, as you can imagine, we have a lot of data now on how cruise ships go from place to place. So we are going to be able to sort of mock up anything that's before 2015. The only thing is, of course, if you have you just go around in a circle, we're not going to know that you went round in a circle. We're going to just be assuming that you went the most normal way, which the ships do follow almost entirely the same route. Even if they're doing a little loop, they normally do it in the same place. So it'll just be the average of a lot of things. Would you take a cruise to Antarctica? Maybe. Not top of my to-do list. Very, very expensive. But never say never. Never say never. Have you tried Ambassador? I have. My cruise was cancelled on the day and I went home. So only for 8 hours. Grace says, what are we looking at? Sorry, I just got on. So this is a brand new feature on a website I have called the Cruise Globe. I co-founded it with a couple of other great guys, and this is the new feature. So now you can replay all of your cruises when you add them into Cruise Globe. It comes up in 3D. You don't have to, I'm not zooming or following this ship or anything like that. You can see exactly where the ship went. So every little wiggle, that's a wiggle that we really did, which I think is cool. So yeah, it's completely free to use. It's on thecruiseglobe.com. You only need to know what ship you're on, what dates you were on the cruise, start and end, and then we'll figure out all the bit in the middle. That's so cool. This has never been available to just regular people before. Not saying that we're regular people. I mean, we're all special, but you know what I mean? People who don't work at NASA, they're the only people who would have been able to see this kind of thing before. So now we all have access to it, which is so cool. Yeah, Jamie says, I want to see the one that goes around in circles a few times. I will show you that one in a minute. This one is quite long. This was a long cruise that I took. You can see there in the top corner, it says how many miles it is. I can't read that. It's far too small on this screen. Like, I wish I could see the live stream as big as you see it, but I see all this editing stuff behind it. So it's a long way. It's a long way. I know that for sure. And we ended in South Korea, which was really cool. I've never been to South Korea before. Have you been on a cruise to nowhere? Yes. I think that leads in nicely with my next one. So this is the first cruise. I'm going to show you now. This is the first cruise out of the UK after the pandemic. It did go somewhere. It did go somewhere, but I'll let you watch it. You really like that circle, huh? I guess it was just a free bit of the ocean where they could go round and round in circles. We did stop. We did stop, but it was that time right after COVID where if you wanted to get off, you had to do an excursion. And as you can see, this is only a few hours along the coast. If I wanted to go there, I would just drive on land. Like I didn't need to do an excursion. And also, we were so excited to be on a cruise ship, so I didn't get off at all. And you might think that the ship is done with its circles, but it is not. It goes back and it found its same bit again, and it goes round and round and round. It makes me laugh. It's gonna make me cry. It went more into the English Channel than I'd expect. Yeah, I think we had decent weather on that cruise, to be fair. It was in May, so maybe that was just where the weather was okay, and so they thought the sun's here, let's stick around here. I don't know. They always do follow the same channels, and it's so interesting. I don't know if everyone else finds this interesting, but I find it really interesting to see where they go out into international waters so that they can open the casino and then they come back in again, even though they really didn't need to go that way. Yeah. Yeah, Tony says, just played my last cruise and it shows the medical emergency detour. Yes, exactly. So if you have, sometimes people will be airlifted off and you might have to go around in circles for a while. I've had some where we've gone to another port and just to drop someone off at like 2 a.m. Yeah, interesting. Would you go on a cruise which never called anywhere? Yes, for sure. Some cruises I've taken, I took a cruise on Symphony of the Seas, and it was such an exciting big ship. I almost felt like either I can do the destinations or I can do the ship. So if it didn't sail, I still would have done it, for sure. I see my dad answering a question in here. I can't see the question, but my dad just did get off of an Ambassador cruise. So Ambassador is the newest British cruise line. My dad says we enjoyed it, definitely aimed at the older generation, especially the entertainment. But it was a very nice, cheap cruise as far as I can tell, Dad. So I'm sure I will hear more about that soon. Did the ship actually circle or was the GPS just wonky? It circled. This is what really happened. It was just killing time. And when it kills time, it doesn't stay still. It normally goes round and round in circles. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, the Disney cruise went nowhere. Yeah, so I did a Disney cruise that literally went nowhere. A Virgin Voyages cruise that went nowhere. I also took a press cruise. It was a launch of a Saga ship years ago. And that went nowhere because there was some sort of problem. We were supposed to go somewhere, but we didn't. So I've done quite a few cruises to nowhere. Hello, Matt's in here from Royal Caribbean blog. Matt, I would absolutely love to see your cruise replays on the Cruise Globe because, oh my goodness. I have a couple of Royal Caribbean ones on here. I thought I would give you a range of destinations. So if we have a look at this one, this is the Symphony of the Seas, one that I was just talking about here. Oh, is it? Come on then, play. There we go. Yes, so this is Symphony of the Seas. This is a Mediterranean cruise that I took. Really, really nice cruise. I was trying to do everything I could on board. Why am I so small? There we go. And I just about managed it, but I only actually got off on this cruise in one port. So I've been to every port multiple times before. That's why I booked this cruise. It wasn't about that. Yeah, you never notice the circles. Exactly. You never notice the circles. It's so interesting to see that if you take a cruise that goes from Southampton to Bruges, which is that way, it'll go the other way before it comes back this way just to kill time, really. But you wouldn't know that. You would think you would know that from being on board. But when you see the sea in every single direction, you have no idea where you're going. No idea. So that's Marseille. You can see Marseille where we dock and where it says Marseille are quite far apart. That's why I always mention there's normally a free shuttle bus in Marseille that you can get from the port. But things like this, when you do these cruise replays, you can see where you actually dock and you can see how far that is from other things, which is cool. Jamie says, can we get a whoosh sound effect when Emma shares her screen? I think we're getting a whoosh when I open this, but this is nice. Marsha says, I'm reading that MSC Cruises food is not very good. Would you agree? So I have cruised with MSC 7 times now, and I have taken a couple where I have taken friends and family who've never been on any cruise before. So I think that shows that I like it because it's a vote of confidence that I've done the same cruises twice and taken friends and family. It's not the same as American cruise line food, but that suits me fine. It's an Italian cruise line. It's a lot of pasta. The bread is so good. The bread is better than on any American cruise line, and bread is important to me. But it just depends what you want, really. So I quite like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think food is so subjective. It's really tricky. But as long as it's warm and it's a decent portion size, then I'm pretty happy, personally. I wish I could see this bigger. Obviously, I've been recording this today. I've recorded so many of these, and it was really... I think if we had some relaxing music and you were just following the line, it could make you fall asleep. Yeah. Pasta, take a drink, says Jonathan. Yes, pasta. Jamie says, don't forget to put the banner up on the screen that says this live is sponsored by Pepsi. I wish Pepsi needed me to be sponsored. I would love that. But yes. Jack says, how soon will the next Captain Hudson books be released? So I had a meeting this week with Jerome, my co-author, and we have 2 more that are pretty much ready to go. Pretty much. So say a month's time, we have one about Norway, and then look how cool that is. That is so cool, right, for a Mediterranean cruise. And then we have our sort of transatlantic, Titanic-y kind of book coming out. And then we have one that's a bit more for adults. So yes. Okay, let's put me back on the screen. Big me again. Do your parents or brother ever take a cruise without you? Yes, I mean, my parents were on a cruise this week on Bon Ambassador without me. So yeah. David says, Emma, how do you get the animation to go on one of your cruises? Yes, so this is on thecruiseglobe.com. If you go to thecruiseglobe.com, you can enter all of your cruises on there. You'll get all the statistics about how many miles you sailed, all that kind of thing. And you just need to enter the ship that you're on, the start and end date, and where it started and ended, so that we can work out everything in the middle. Once you click on that cruise in the Cruise Globe, there's a big button. It says Cruise Replay. And that will just go into the animation. So it's not like you have to zoom yourself or follow the ship round or anything. It'll just play nicely. It zooms in more when it's kind of in the ports. And then if you're doing something like a transatlantic where it's just the sea, obviously it speeds up a bit because it's literally just the sea. But yes, all you need to do is thecruiseglobe.com. It's totally free to use. And if you just click the cruise replay button, then it will replay for you. So at the moment, if you'd like to share it, I mean, please do. The best thing you can do for us is to share this, to show people, you know, you can go on your phone. It's not an app yet, but you can still do it on your phone. It works pretty well. Show people when you meet them, you know, when you go to see a friend and they say, oh, I have a Norwegian Fjord cruise booked. You can say, oh, here's one I did. I wonder if you're going to this port and this port, and you can sort of see it. But yes, it is completely free, but what we would like is you to share it. Please enjoy it and share it. Spread the word as far as possible. This is the first time this has ever existed, ever, for just people to use. So cool. Adult Captain Hudson books like 50 Shades? No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Would you ever be a lifelong learner with Semester at Sea? Maybe. We do have a partnership with Semester at Sea, actually, at Cruise Maps. So I have learned more about them recently. Cool. Jamie says, does Emma get you mates rates? Emma doesn't get mates rates for herself. Yeah. Oh, Matt's in here and he says the animations look amazing. Clearly the result of the hard work of Will. Yes. So Will is one of my co-founders who knows far more about the technical side of this than me. And I have to tell him sometimes how I'm explaining this to you guys by talking about the data blobs. But he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. So yes, absolutely. It's been a lot of work, this project. Long time coming, but we have so much more coming and it is so fun. So fun. Yeah, Postcard and a Pint saying, loving the animations, by the way. Can't wait to watch some. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, cruising tips. Have you ever docked next to a ship and said, I've never done that one, but I should. It looks amazing. Every ship that I've ever docked next to that I've not done? Probably. I don't think I've ever looked at one and been like, nah. Even if it looked bad, I'd be like, I want to find out what that is about, right? Who is on there? What is it like? Absolutely. Emma to Will, make it go zoom. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. this has probably been already been asked. Please don't ever worry about if something's already been asked, because how are you supposed to know if you're not here? You're not going to know. So don't ever worry. But can you share your cruise replay? So at the moment, you'll need to screen record it. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on the computer. That's the only way to kind of record the video at the minute. We're working on that. I think that's kind of hard a little bit. So you'll see I'm doing that a lot, but I don't expect everybody else to do that. But yeah, if you can, please feel free. If you can screenshot, screen record, take pictures. If you're playing something on your TV or your laptop, you can take pictures of it. Just share any way you can and tag us. So it's the cruise globe and also the cruise maps. Yes. Cruise boys are in here. Hello, cruise boys. Nice to see you. Very envious of you on your lovely Caribbean cruise. Lovely, lovely. A cruise line that is excellent, but not your cup of tea. The one that I've probably said most is not my cup of tea is Cunard. But I think they do what they do very well. So I released a video recently about my trip on Queen Anne. I also did the transatlantic on Queen Mary too. I think it's very good. It's not particularly for me. Also, I've taken some random cruises. There's no cruise I wouldn't try. Oh, Matt says Virgin is my vote. I've only taken one Virgin Voyages cruise, and I think I need to do a proper one because it was just after the pandemic. Things were all a bit cut down. They've changed a lot since then. So, yeah. Yep. Do you have any videos coming out soon? Yes. So I have from this cruise, I have my Norwegia Aqua videos coming out on Monday. So this is a two-parter. So this part here from Lisbon up to Southampton, that was the first cruise. That was a 5-day cruise. Technically it's 2 cruises, but I'm thinking about it as one. Not much to see on this route because it's literally Lisbon to Southampton. But that 5-day story is going to be on my channel, the normal kind of 25-minute story video. And then at that point, instead of disembarking, I had the weirdest disembarkation day ever because I didn't get off. I got upgraded. So I moved into the Haven for 3 days. So that video about Haven, that's going to be on Norwegian Cruise Line's YouTube channel. That's why they let me in the Haven. So that was nice. So when you watch my video, it'll automatically go on to the next one. And if you can let them know that I sent you, that would be so cool. So cool. So yeah, the second part of the cruise, the 3-day cruise, this is us going to Bruges. As you can see, this part's pretty direct, but normally when a cruise ship does this kind of route, it is killing time. So there we are. Docking in Bruges. Very, very nice. Did they make you D-ship and reship? No, they didn't. Nuh-uh. I had to go to reception just to change my cruise card. They kept my first cruise card, actually, which is kind of why I'm thinking about it as one cruise. But yeah, you can see that little loop there that we did that was just because we had time. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, look at the distance traveled on there. We were also delayed a few days getting out because of bad weather. And yeah, it's a really interesting couple of videos. I really hope that you like it. And then I have a cabin video, just my normal sort of cabin video coming out after that. It has been a lot. It's not more work, but it takes longer to do the edit when we're doing 2 videos, obviously, but they link to each other. So I think it's worth waiting for it. But you are going to want to be comfortable, I think, on Monday. I'm aiming for 5 p.m. UK time, so 12 p.m. Eastern time. And it will be maybe in total 45 minutes of content. So I hope you're ready. Have you released the Discovery 2 video? No, I have not yet. I think it will be after the Aqua video. It's not quite done yet. And Aqua was it's new, it's exciting, it's just more time sensitive than Marella. Because Marella Discovery 2 has been around since 1996 or something. What was the mileage on the one you just showed me? Good question. I can't see. Maybe you can see because it's so small on my screen. There we go. 1,472. Is that right? 1,000. Yeah. It is so small. Like it's not my eyesight. It is just so tiny. John says, did not know the cruise record was a thing. I'll have to Google that. Yes, it's just called the Cruise Globe. It is fairly new. It's a couple of months old. So it's really new. Added my first cruise. Thank you so much, Matt. That's so cool. I think it's really interesting to me to see where I've overlapped the same kind of cruise. And I feel like there's some cruises that you've done a lot of times. So that would be really cool. Aw, stupid job having the nerve to interrupt an Emma live stream. That's crazy. That's why these live streams are at this time, because I always finished work at 5 p.m. on a Friday and I wanted to not work anymore. So I used to do my live streams 5 till 6. So, you know, if anyone tries to contact me, I'm not replying because I'm live on YouTube. Which ship model is that behind you? So this is a P&O ship. No, it's not. It's a princess ship. It was a friend of mine, Owen. Many of you remember him. He used to come to the live streams a lot. He was in our Patreon a lot. He passed away, and his mum sent me this ship. So that is why it's there. Yet that is my only ship model that I currently have. Yes. Yes. But I love it being there. Did you see Holland America is back in the UK this season? I did. They're all quite long cruises, though, really, aren't they? So I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think I'd like to cruise with Holland America. Of course I would. Oh, Easy Tiger 10 says, I just stopped work to watch you, Emma. Thank you. Oh, Christopher says, took my first cruise this year and my cruise globe looks empty. Time to plan the next one. That is a risk because you very much see where you haven't cruised. But that's not a bad thing, right? Not a bad thing. Oh, Jamie says, gonna have to leave early to go to an appointment. Am I in trouble? Oh, no, you're not in trouble. Please take notes for me. What is the oldest ship that you've been on? So I took a cruise on board Celestial Olympia. She is gone now. I think she's scrapped. She was originally a Royal Caribbean ship from the 1980s. And that was the only ship that I've been on where it was really noticeable, the age. Just the design of the ship, just the way some of the corridors would be just a random half step up or a random sideways. Like, it was really interesting. Jack says, Emma's live streams and my lunch hour coincide quite nicely. That's cool. When I was looking earlier at my recordings, I found one, which I think you'll enjoy this. It's the weird ones that are the most interesting, right? So this is a trip I took on Azamara. This is the only Azamara cruise that I've taken. But as you can see, we didn't really sail very far, but the way we did it was a very wiggly way. So this first bit, completely normal, straight. The end of the itinerary is different, actually, because we did have some bad weather. We got redirected. But this was a cruise where I stayed in one of, I think, 16 inside cabins. There's only 16 on the entire ship, something like that. And it was my chance to try Azamara. But yeah, look at this bit here. From us going port to port. And then it just goes like that. Like, it doesn't need to do that, does it? It's cool. Very, very cool. Is Hudson and your puppy well? Yes, so Hudson is doing well. He was here, he's had his dreamies, and he's left. He normally just leaves as soon as the live stream starts. But Rolo is doing very well. Yeah, full of energy. Of course he is. He's just turned 1. So, but look at that. That is really pretty. I think that's so nice. I could just have that in the background all the time. Jackie says, moderators, we aim to be in full service, providing all kinds of answers and info, in addition to policing out the bad actors. Yes, thanks so much, Jackie. I always say it, but I would never be on this live stream if it wasn't for you, because I wouldn't. New to the live, I've been watching your trips. May I ask, how are you able to afford to travel a lot? Do you have a high-paying job? So I'm very lucky in that I work for myself now. So in 2021, I left my traditional 9-to-5 office job. If you're interested in my business now, I understand it's really weird. But I do list, if you just Google Emma Cruises income, and I have a post that splits out how I make money in my business, lots of different ways. And yeah, luckily I don't have to ask for time off anymore. But I keep working when I'm at sea. I work when I'm traveling. And yeah, that works so well for me. So well for me. I've not regretted the decision for 0.1 second. I know many of you were here when it was scary, you know, leaving a traditional job, but I'm not looking. I never looked back. Never looked back. Thank you for the encouragement, everyone who was here then as well. But look at that wiggle, right? You would never know that you did that when you were on the ship because you don't see. You just see that. Yeah. Aw, that is lovely. Hats off to you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. European dates confuse. European dates? Is it European dates? Which countries? What do you do in Canada? Canadians? Let me know how your dates are. And Australia? What do you do? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know. I don't know if it is a European date thing or if it is like Fahrenheit, where I think that's America and maybe one other country, just Fahrenheit. Thank you to my mum who shared the link to this. Yes, I try and be as open as I can with all of this stuff because I think it's really interesting, to be quite honest. So if you want to also look at, last year I made a post that said every cruise I took, how much every single one took, how much every single one cost, how many of them were press trips, what the retail value of those would be if I paid for them, that kind of thing. Australia is the same as the UK. Interesting. And yeah, I thought so. 0.1 Britishism. Naught. Is naught a Britishism? Is that it? Is that the Britishism? Maybe. How is the strawberries and cream Pepsi? It's nice. It's really quite sweet. It tastes as if you got like a pick a mix. You know the dust at the end of a pick a mix bag? Pick a mix must be a Britishism, right? I'm sure you have the similar thing in America, but pick a mix sounds quite British. But it tastes like you just dumped in the dust from a pick a mix bag into a Pepsi Max, which suits me fine. Lovely. Don't apologize for your typing. Do not worry. I know what you mean for sure. We're in an international company and have a regulation that the month is always spelled to avoid chaos. I think that's a good idea. Yes. We do normally say things the other way around too. If someone was to say, oh, that's April 3rd, I'd think that's a very American way to say it. Thank you to my mum for sharing my link to my 2024 cruises. Yes, 2024 cruises. Have you ever tracked your cruise price and asked the money back for the cruise line? I recently heard of this. So this is a thing that works in the US and not in the UK, generally speaking. There are some exceptions where some cruise lines will do this, but pretty much if you're in the UK and you buy this Pepsi Max, if this goes on sale, then you bought it at the wrong time. That's it. So yeah. This is something I've learned a lot about, though, because I do have a team of travel agents in the US, and it's very, very different the way cruises work in the US and the UK. Oh, thank you so much to the comment that says, I don't plan on going on a cruise, but your content is intriguing. I try and make my content not just for people who want to go on a cruise, but just for anyone who is wondering, what is that? You know, if anyone has ever walked by a cruise ship and thought, what is in there? I want to show you what is in there. Everyone's talking about their date format. Yes. I'm quite used to doing it the American way and the British way, of course, but yeah, it is confusing. It does confuse me for a second where I'm like, what is the 17th month? Oh, I see. What is the smallest cabin you've ever been in? If you can remember, did you survive? Says Justin. Probably the smallest in terms of size would be the barge that I went on. It's a barge, you know, small cabins. Lovely, though. Lovely. And they've got even lovelier. If any of you remember, I did a cycling cruise. It's a company called the Merlin, a ship called the Merlin. I did it twice. Fantastic. But it's a barge, so the cabins are quite small. I think that's probably the smallest, but there are only 2 of us in that cabin. So if you said, which cruise cabin did I have the least amount of space in? That's probably one of the cruises that I took when I was a teenager, and I shared an inside cabin, you know, with my mum, my dad, and my brother, because per person, that's not a lot of space. That's quite squishy. You have to like each other to do that, for sure. Aw, Tim says you are one of the many reasons I started cruising. Thank you very much. Do you cruise solo? My mum says, no, she doesn't. It isn't safe for her now. I would be worried sick. Thank you, Mum. Yeah. Cruising solo is fantastic, but when as many people see my face, it's not a good idea. So, yeah. If you can start your question, please do with question in capital letters, because I find it tricky to focus my eyes on anything else. Yeah. Which cabin would Hudson least like to be swung in? Yes, it sounds like a really weird question, James, but I totally get it, because enough room to swing a cat is a pretty common phrase. Don't know if that's a Britishism or not. I don't know. Do you have a list of the best cruise lines for cookies that provide Pepsi Max and other bits of potentially important knowledge? So I have a guide on my website to the best cookies. The best for bread, I don't think so. But I think it's probably a cruise line like MSC, which is kind of unexpected for a lot of people. And Pepsi Max, I do have a guide to which ships are Pepsi and Coke. It's barely any left on Pepsi. So probably the best one for Pepsi is P&O, actually, because you get pints of Pepsi Max. And it is real Pepsi Max. So, yeah. Steve says, love the Cruise Globe website. Can you share how you plan or are making money off this great website? Absolutely. This is another thing. I try and be as open as possible. So as you can see behind me, we have these maps here. This is the cruisemaps.com. This is the website we've had for quite a long time. And this is what is behind the Cruise Globe. So every time you add a cruise to the Cruise Globe, you'll see the option to buy this physical print. Obviously, you don't have to. Also, obviously, we are hoping that some people will. So that's how we make money off of the website at the moment. Instead of us spending money, advertising these, we're basically putting all of that into developing the Cruise Globe. So you have access to the information all for free. You can see which cruises are the most interesting. That's a really key thing about it. And obviously, there's a limit on how much wall space everyone has. And we totally get that. We do have the cruise album, of course. Where is my cruise album? Oh, it's here. Silly me. We do have the cruise album, of course. This is here because I just added my first river cruise map. We've just added river cruises to this. And it is so short, this cruise. It is 62 miles. Let me just show you this. I'm just going to get it out the folder because otherwise you'll just see a big reflection of my light. But yes, this is the river cruise. 62 miles. That's so small. So yes, this is obviously we heard people running out of wall space. So these are small ones that go in the album here. But yeah, hopefully people will see their cruises on Cruise Globe. They'll be able to see which ones they want perhaps in the album, which ones they want on their wall, that kind of thing. That's the hope. That's the hope. Bought my latest cruise map through the Cruise Globe site. Fabulous. Fabulous. Can you add inserts to the album as you cruise more? No, is a fixed amount in here. You wouldn't want to try and add more to this. And also it would completely ruin it. How much are the albums? I'm not going to answer a specific thing on a live stream because the amounts change. But if you just go to the cruisemaps.com and then if you want a discount, use code Emma Cruises because that's always going to be true. So also currency is postage is always included, but just go to the cruisemaps.com and you'll get the most up-to-date price. Any plans to add future cruises to the globe so that as soon as the data is available, it's on the map? Yes. Future cruises are coming very soon. The app version is coming soon. And pre-2015, they're kind of the key things that we're working on right now. I don't know what Mum is answering, but she says, here's Emma's 67 first-time cruise tips. Yeah, that's why I kind of struggle sometimes when people say, Emma, what is a tip for my first cruise? Because I have 67. I have more than that. Oh, Sam says, I was impressed with how fast the cruise is added to the Cruise Globe. Thank you. We have 16 people that work full-time on the data. So it is a big thing. Obviously, we've had so many cruises added. We have 25,000 users on there now. So it's a lot. But we're getting there. So yeah. With your channel growing, have you encountered a fan on your cruise before? And how would a fan interact with you respectfully for future reference? That is such a lovely question. So my favorite interactions are the ones that start with, hello, Emma, I follow you on YouTube. Or hello, Emma, I know you from Facebook. Or hello, Emma, I something. Because then I know what's going on. I sometimes find it a bit weird when people talk to me but don't mention anything because I don't know if they're just someone who talks to everyone or if they've met me before and I've forgotten. That's my worst nightmare. So yeah, if you can say, hello, Emma, I watch you on YouTube. That's the best way to start a conversation with me. Yeah. Have you been on Arvia or Britannia? Yes, I have been on both. Did Arvia in February to the Caribbean and wanting to try one of the other ships. Yes. So Britannia is a bit more traditional. She's a bit smaller. She's not so much aimed at families, I would say. I mean, families do go on Britannia, but after Britannia, I think P&O made a real sort of change into the family market. So yeah, it's a bit more traditional, a little bit more grown up on Britannia, I would say. It's quite a long time though since I've been on Britannia. You can watch the videos on my channel if you want. I do have here, it's very popular to do a P&O cruise. I know a lot of the ships are in Norway, so I have recorded for you a Anthem of the Seas. I know this isn't P&O, but this is the almost exact route that every 7-day Norwegian Fjord cruise does. So we leave Southampton, we have a sea day. This is the wiggly sea day part. And then you'll get to see how far in some of these ports are. They're really, really far in. Oh, trawling through your website, reading up lots of helpful tips and linking to some of your older videos. It's been helpful in planning a cruise. I am so glad. I have been writing on that website since 2016. So there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles on there. So I'm so glad. Yeah, 2018, I went on Britannia for sure. For sure. Yeah, so look at this. Like, look how wiggly that is. It's so cool. Into Bergen. Bergen's a lovely, lovely port. Yeah, Norway is definitely one of my favorites. If I was to meet someone who's in the UK who says they want to take a first cruise, I don't think you can go so wrong with, look at that as well, 7-day kind of Norway cruise. So pretty. This is hours and hours of just sail-ins and sail-outs, and look at it. It's so nice. So nice. Pretty, pretty, pretty. British pints, not American pints of Pepsi Max on P&O, so bigger. I thought our pints were the same. I know we have everything else that's different. A pint's not the same? I always find it strange when I go to America and we always have 500 ml. That's like the normal amount for this. But whatever it is in ounces is like 550 ml in America. So I'm like, oh, a bit extra. But look at that. Look how nice that is. It is so cool. An American pint is 16 ounces. I wouldn't know 16 ounces if it poured on my head from a bucket. It means nothing to me, ounces. What is the most expensive drinks package you've purchased on a cruise? So I have never paid for a drinks package that includes alcohol. So the most expensive, probably it's Costa, because I had a non-alcoholic drinks package on there, not soda. So it included mocktails and things like that. I don't remember how much it was exactly, but I remember all the comments being like, all that much money for soda? No. So yeah. But yes, look at this. You normally have pretty okay weather going to Norway as well. This is the one sea day where you have a bit of a... Oh, UK pint is 20 ounces. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Cool. Any recommendations for cruises that stop at Athens? So you can do... Most cruise lines go to Athens at some point. You know, Princess, Celebrity. You could do a Greek cruise. Celestial, very, very good. I took a Celestial Olympia cruise. That was lovely. It was very early in the season. It was so nice. Britishism of the week. I wouldn't know 16 ounces if it was poured on my head. Yeah. In most bars in the US, their pint glasses are 15 ounces. Really? Who knew? I learn new things every single day. This doesn't say ounces on it. It just says milliliters. Also, I don't think in the US anyway, you have these little rainbow things, do you? Every food and drink has to have that on it. Green, amber, red. Greetings from the Netherlands. Amazing. US pint is 473 ml, UK pint 568. You're getting ripped off there, guys. You need your pints to be a bit bigger. What are the best cruise lines for allergies? It's tricky. I don't think you can really just say this cruise line is better than others, because there's certain things that I notice on some cruise lines. Their menus in the main dining room will have great markings on them for different allergens, but they might have nothing in the buffet. But some will have complete sections for gluten-free. Some will have, dairy-free sections. So I don't think I can answer that just with a cruise line. I was very impressed with the allergen markings on Morella recently in the buffet. There were things on that list that I didn't know people were allergic to. I've never heard of them. So that was pretty cool. Mm-mm-mm. Who knew? We're all learning things about pints today. All learning things about pints. Yes. So I have which cruises do I have on here? Oh, I have an interesting one. So this was my first cruise without my parents. And I decided, of course, Norwegian, because I've cruised with Norwegian more than any other cruise line. But this was my Norwegian Getaway cruise. It's cool, isn't it? This is a Caribbean cruise. Yeah, so just for anyone who has just joined us, this that you're looking at now, this is a new feature on the cruiseglobe.com. It's totally free to use. Totally free to use. Sailed with NCL last fall from Athens. Yes, absolutely. I definitely would recommend if you're going to go to Athens, don't go in the heat of summer. It's so hot. We went in February and it was really still nice. It was kind of early 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, look at this lovely Caribbean cruise that we took. This was 2016, so quite a long time. Max says your website is very useful for comparing dress codes. I like a more casual cruise. Yes, me too. Me too. 473 watching and not even 200 likes. We can do better. Yes, do better. Please do. Please do. Any plans to go on MSC World America? No plans right now. I cruise on MSC World Europa. They're pretty similar, but I have seen everything going on with the naming ceremony. Looks lovely. But yes, yeah, Disney have separate allergy kitchens. You can find a cast member with a radio in the buffets and they can get you whatever you want. Yeah. When I've done behind the scenes tours too, I did one recently with Norwegian. They have the allergen separate part in the kitchen and special people who only work in that section. So that's cool. I love the colors in the Caribbean. This really kind of, it's just what the satellite looks like, but I think it's pretty cool. You can go see that. Like, why did it do that? Just killing time or practicing. Yeah, if you go actually in the cruise globe, not on the animation, you can go really 3D. You can go spin around and stuff like that, which is cool. But yeah, look at that. Cozumel, nice, nice. Is this a transatlantic cruise? No, I didn't record my transatlantic cruise for you guys because it is really boring. Like for the animation, it comes out of New York. That bit's nice. We had 7 days at sea. So just imagine this, but everything is just dark blue and it's just a dot. So yeah. Can the animation be adjusted? Not right now. This is just, we have done all the adjusting for you so you don't have to work it out. Never say never, but not right now. Not right now. You should try another transatlantic. It's kind of like, people always say to me, oh, Emma, you don't like coffee. Why don't you try a really creamy, milky coffee? Because what? Why? There's so many other things that I would prefer, right? I'm not discounting transatlantics forever, but there's so many cruises that I want to do more than that because it just doesn't suit me. So I totally understand what you mean. Like, there's so many people who love transatlantics. They don't want me to miss out. But I don't feel like I'm missing out. There's so many cruises that you can take. There's so many that I want to do. That's not I'm not struggling for cruises to want to do. So yeah, maybe, but Keith says sailing on MSC Preiosa next year. Lovely, lovely. I spent a week on Preiosa. I took 2 of my friends on there. One of them was a first-time cruiser. The other one was a second-time cruiser. So that's a good sign. I took them on their first cruise too. And we did the classic kind of Bruges, Le Havre, that kind of thing. But it was great. It was really, really cheap. We just had fun. We just went into it with, we're just here to have a good time. And we had a good time. So that was nice. Try McDonald's coffee in the US, not British McDonald's. I don't think I want to. I don't like coffee, and I don't want coffee. Like it, yeah. I don't know. Oh, leaving from Miami tomorrow and doing a transatlantic to Southampton on Monday. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yes. What is the best pizza? I mean, the best access to pizza is MSC for sure. I think the best quality pizza I've ever had is on Princess. You do have to have like a higher package on Princess now, I think, or you have to pay for the pizza. And I normally do the cheapest one on Princess, so that's kind of sad, but it was really good. It would be worth it. I thought this was the coffee appreciation podcast. You thought wrong. You thought wrong. Out of context, this is just funny. I've heard that getting a cruise while it's repositioning can be a massive money saver, but what's the best way to look for those cruises? There's not really. If you go on a cruise line's website, say you're going on MSC's website or you're going on Norwegian's website, there isn't really a filter for starting and ending in different places. You kind of just have to look for when you want to go in a month and then look at the itineraries or sort price low to high, and then you'll probably find them. There isn't just a website for that, but any cruise that starts and ends in different ports tends to be cheaper. I have a cruise coming up soon. It could very easily be a round trip, but it's not, and it's much cheaper. Two, actually. My next two cruises don't start and end in the same place, and that works fine for me. One of them I'm flying both ends, so it doesn't matter. And the other one, I'll work it out. It's fine. Yeah. Websites like Vacations to Go are good for finding repositioning cruises. Yeah, for sure. I like Vacations to Go. I often look on there and I find a cruise and then I send it to my travel agents. Of course, you can ask if you ask a travel agent, if you want to fill in the form on my website and put, I'm just looking at repositioning cruises with Norwegian and Royal Caribbean in December or something like that, then we can find them for you, for sure. What are the thoughts on a Canary Island or Azores cruise? I love the Canary Islands. One of my favorite places to go, especially in winter. The weather is so much better than it is in the UK. It's really easy to walk around. There's loads to see. It feels very clean, very safe. I like it a lot. The Azores, I've never been to the Azores on a cruise. I've been on land, though, and we stayed there for, how long did we stay there for? Mum, can you let me know in the comments? A couple of weeks, I think, or a week. I was quite young, but we had a good time there. Very sort of lush plants and that kind of stuff in the Azores. What is tipping like on a cruise? We've only been with P&O and we are nervous about how tipping works if we went with another company, says Josh. Great question, Josh. If you want, after my answer, to have more detail, just search Emma Cruises gratuities on Google, and I have a guide that sort of splits out the gratuities more. But generally speaking, most cruises, if you go on one of the big American cruise lines, you're going to have a daily tip added onto your onboard account that you can either pay before or you can pay afterwards. And that could be something like $13 per person per day. That's just a random number, but something like that. It's normally between $10, sort of $15. Some of them are up to $20 per person per day. And that is in place of tipping. So you can just leave that on and then not have to deal with cash at all. Some people, if they're used to tipping, you know, for someone taking their bag or room service, that kind of thing, some people will still give cash, but it's totally normal just to leave on the gratuities and then never think about it again. That's what I choose to do. So yeah, you can always leave some if you have a particularly good room steward or something. You can leave them at the end some cash, but please don't be too nervous or worry. Just view it as, you know, if you are normally cruising with P&O and you're now trying to do a Carnival cruise, just tick that box, the prepaid gratuities. That's what I do. And then it's just a way to make the price look lower. That's all I see. You know, all the cruise lines are paying their staff. It's just how it gets shown. Yeah. Have you sailed out of Tilbury? I have a couple of times. Yes, I have. Yes, that's where I did my Disney cruise that went absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I don't have a recording of that one, I'm afraid. I only have the wiggly one, this one. The thing about this one, though, is if you imagine us going out of London Tilbury, which is a bit higher, we did this same circle, but we did the circle a little bit higher up. But I love this one. I'm going to replay this. I think this is my favorite cruise just because we did 4 loops there, then a wiggle, and then we went where we actually were supposed to go. So this beginning bit was a sea day, and that's why we're doing the loopy loops. Should pizza be eaten by ketchup, says Adam. Of course it should be. You have to cut it up, pull out the pizza, put the ketchup in the middle, and then every single bite, you have to eat it. Yeah. Will you do YouTube forever, or do you have other goals in your life? I don't think long term. I don't think I can think a couple of years in advance. But I don't think I'll do YouTube. I don't think anyone does YouTube forever. I mean, YouTube's probably not going to be here forever. I don't know. It's been here a long time though, so hopefully hopefully for quite a while. But every time I think about my career that I have now, and I think what I'm doing right now, I'm very busy with the Cruise Globe, the cruise maps. We're writing these Captain Hudson books. I'm trying to make a Rolo toy so we can raise money for another charity. All of these things I would never have imagined 2 years ago. They didn't it didn't exist in my mind. So who knows what's going to happen in another 2 years. What is your favorite UK restaurant to eat at? My most frequent place I eat at is Weatherspoons. a chain of pubs that we have here, very cheap pubs. I'm not a gourmet kind of girl when it comes to food. YouTube just turned 20. Yes, YouTube turned 20. So funny. I remember seeing the first video ever uploaded to YouTube. It was so funny. So funny. We have got 4 more minutes on this live stream, so time is flying very, very fast. Time always flies on these live streams, but I feel like this one's been even. Can you feel my excitement? You can, because I'm so excited. It feels like it takes a really long time to work on these things, and while we're working on them, I'm keeping it in my head, and then I can finally share it. So yes, exciting, exciting. And if you do want to share, please do. If you can tag us, if you can tag me, tag the cruise maps, tag the cruise globe. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Thank you so much. Just try Cruise Globe, so fun. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook. If you can do that, that would be much appreciated. Show your friends, sit down with people and talk to them about your cruises. That would be amazing. When are your Aqua videos coming out? I have 2 coming out on Monday. If all goes to plan, all goes to plan. It's going to be 2 videos, so get comfortable, please, before you watch them. And get a cup of tea, something like that. Given the choice, would you prefer the water show, theatre show, or ice show in the evening? Oh, so I went on Symphony of the Seas. They have this diving water show. They have theatre shows, and they have ice skating shows. I think I would go with, if these are the options, I mean, I'm going to do all of them, of course. But probably the outside water show was the most just crazy thing, to be sat at the back of a ship that is sailing. You can see the ocean, and then people are flying through the air, and there's music, and yeah, it's just unlike anything else. Whereas I've seen ice skating on land, and I go to the theatre as much as I can. I love the theatre. Yeah. When you cross the channel, how long do you not see land? I mean, you see land quite often, to be honest, and you can quite often get 4G on your phone from wherever it is. So you're never really that far, especially if you're doing a loop-the-loop like I'm doing there. What is the verdict? Strawberry, Pepsi, or squash? This is nice. I wouldn't want to drink this all the time. I'm not going to replace normal Pepsi Max with this. It's very sweet, but it's good. If you wanted something sweet and you didn't want to eat a bag of pickle mix, drink this. May I ask, in your experience, what is the most common mistake new cruisers make that you do notice a lot? I think the thing that people do a lot that I feel sort of makes things worse for them is that they go into it with a really, really ambitious plan of, in this port, we're going to do a 9-hour excursion and hike here and go kayaking and do this and that. And then they do that every single day of the cruise. And they go and see every single show, and they want to eat in every single place. And then they're just constantly moving, constantly chasing. You're supposed to relax. So don't go into it thinking that you have to do anything, because you don't. If you can go on a cruise, just sit on your balcony, look at the sea, read a book. And it's amazing. It is fantastic. You don't have to always, do everything all the time, especially the long excursions. They're really quite tiring if you're doing a lot. I find that a lot when I go to places like Japan. Obviously, I want to do everything, but you can get quite almost like run down, or just pace yourself, I would say. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just enjoy it. Do whatever you want. Eat what you want. Wear what's comfortable. This is what you're looking forward to, right? Someone's going to have to post a picture of Picamix. Interesting. Interesting. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for saying lovely things. Lovely, lovely things about the Cruise Globe. I really, really appreciate it. It's X now, not Twitter. Yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. I normally just say Twitter/X because people seem to still call them both. Hmm. Do you like Bermuda? Yeah, I've been to Bermuda a couple of times. It's lovely, 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 lovely. So yes, just one last time. What one should I do? Hmm. Let's just quickly put this here while for anyone who is just joining, because people always join with 10 seconds to go. I just want to tell you, this is my show and tell. I am showing and telling you a new feature in the Cruise Globe. Totally free, totally cool. Replay your cruises, zoom in, show off, show your friends, and please share and tag us. That is my last message. So my mum has worked nonstop all hour. Yes, thanks, mum. Appreciate it. Yeah, here's a post about why your next cruise should be to Bermuda. I have so many posts on my website. If ever you're curious about anything, just put Emma Cruises and then the thing, and I've probably done something about it. So yes, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for your enthusiasm and encouragement, because none of this would happen without you. And I think it is so cool. The cruise industry deserves cool stuff. That's what I think. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.